What's going on, guys? It's Fusion here. And before we get started today, I just want to take 1 second to tell you guys that I just appreciate you being here. I literally just started my channel a few weeks ago and I've been receiving a lot of support from you guys, so thank you. Anyway, we actually have a lot going on today. Spring is right around the corner. We need to sow and grow a bunch of seeds. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. Alright, so here we have a few seeds that we're going to be starting off with, but before we get to any of these, I actually need to redeem myself with one that I was not able to grow last year, and that is the sweet bell peppers. I tried growing this last year, but I think I started it too late and it didn't work out, so I want to have a second chance at it this year. Alright, so first I'm going to take some of this right here. This is some saponin extract. It's a wetting agent that basically makes your water foamy, and I'm going to put some of that in there now so I can show you guys how that works. There we go, that should be plenty. Then you want to mix it up in there. I don't know if it's going to work like this. I think I need to shake it up to introduce some air. So I'm going to cover it with my hand, shake that sucker. There we go, that did it. Anyway, this stuff basically just makes it to where the water sticks to stuff a lot better. So for example, if you have like really dry soil that you're trying to bring back to hydrated, you put some saponin extract in your water and it'll make that water stick to the soil. It's kind of weird, but it's really cool. Anyway, I'm gonna use that sticky concept to make the water basically stick to the seeds. I'm gonna put these seeds of the bell pepper in here to soak for a little while, and that should help me with germination. There they are. We'll just set that to the side for now. Up next, I am learning from my mistakes. Last year, I used this container and I think it was too much soil for how little that plant was. So basically the whole time that plant was fully saturated in water, and I think it made the plant weaker. So in order to remedy that, I'm just going to use smaller starting cells. Alright, so I went ahead and filled this cell with my very own potting mix that I made a few videos ago. So if you haven't had a chance to watch that, you can check that out whenever you get a chance. Anyway, I'm just going to take my keys here and I'm going to make a little hole in the soil to put those seeds in. Alright, we got the holes. Let's go ahead and pop some seeds in. Alright, let's go ahead and cover them up. It looks like we still got some more seeds, so I'm going to just make a few holes beside each one and just keep popping in seeds until we run out. Alright, let's go ahead and continue with another one of my failed attempts from last year, the Cherokee Purple Tomato. Now this one actually did really good, but when the plant was reaching its full maturity, we got a lot of rain and then I ended up getting a disease and the plant died off. But this year I'll be a little bit more careful with it and I think I'll be able to succeed. Just like the bell peppers, I'm going with a small 6-cell tray, and instead of digging holes, I'm just going to go ahead and lay the seeds out on the surface and then cover it up with soil. Oh man, let's hope we have some left from last year. I didn't even check. Wow, look at that. We actually got more than what I thought. Let's see. 1, 2, 3. We got exactly 12 seeds. So I'm going to put 2 seeds per cell. There we go. I know it's kind of hard to see. It kind of looks like pumice, but there's 2 seeds per cell. Alright, so up next we got another one that I did grow last year, and it actually did not fail me. I'm talking about the long purple eggplant. Same thing that I did for the bell pepper. I'm going to take some of this wetting agent into the water, let the seeds soak for a little while, and then go ahead and plant it. Fun fact about eggplants that I bet you didn't know. Did you know that eggplants actually have nicotine inside their seeds? Anyway, let's go ahead and do the same thing we did with the other 2. We're going to put 2 seeds per cell. And the reason why I do that is because sometimes one of the seeds don't germinate properly. So you want to have the other one in there as backup just in case. And if they both germinate, you know what? You got 2 plants. Anyway, because the plant is recommended to be planted at a 1/4 inch depth, I just left a 1/4 inch off the top. I'm going to put the seed in. I'll go back through and put the soil on top. It seems like the easiest way to do it. Save yourself a little time, work harder, not smarter. Wait, that's not how that goes. Work smarter, not harder. Anyway, let's go ahead and get into the fun stuff, guys. I'm excited because now I'm going to be picking one of the packs of seeds that I never grew before. I don't have any experience growing any of this stuff, but I'm confident that they're going to go really well. Alright, I'm just going to grab a random pack. Let's see. We got the Tomato Bush Glacier Tomato. This says that it'll be one of your first ripe tomatoes of the season, and one of your last tomatoes too. And I'm sure, as the name implies, Glacier is probably tolerant with frost. Nah, the name's actually deceiving. It's actually frost sensitive. Anyway, let's go ahead and pop this thing. I think I'm gonna do it the same way I did the other tomatoes, a little 6-cell tray. Alright, you guys know the drill by now. We're going 2 per cell. I'm curious to see how big these seeds are. They look the exact same as the other tomato seeds. I don't know what I was expecting. All right, let's go ahead and roll the dice and see what we get. This is a cool one, Potato Clancy. Now, the reason I say this is cool, let me get a little closer, is because these are actually potato seeds. I've never in my entire life grown a potato from a seed. The only time I've ever grown potatoes is from potatoes themselves. So this is gonna be really interesting. We're gonna be growing potatoes from seeds. And you know what? I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I don't know how to approach this. I don't know if I should do a smaller sale. I don't know if I should do bigger sales. But I'm gonna check how many seeds come in the packet, and if we have enough, we're gonna try both methods out and see which one works better. It's always fun to run your own experiments. I mean, yeah, you could Google the right answer, but you're never gonna really know for sure unless you try it. And that's what I wanna be all about on this channel here. I wanna try everything. All right, let's see if we even have enough seeds for me to try anything in the first place. Here we go, moment of truth. Come on, baby, have a bunch. We got 1, 2, 3, 9, 10. We could work with that because we got 6 here, 7, 8, 9, 10. We have exactly enough to try out both cells. And just in case you were wondering, that is what a potato seed looks like. It's a little white ball, kind of like an egg or something. All right, moving right along, we got some more seeds to sow, so let's see what we get. I'm gonna go with, all the way at the end, it is the sweet banana pepper. Look at that. Now, of course, I've had these before, like most of you probably have. These are really good, so I wanted to see if I grow my own, would it taste any better? Would it taste the same, or would it taste like crap? Now with this, I'm gonna treat it the same way that I treat the bell peppers. We're gonna go with the small 6-cell trays. All right, let's keep going, guys. We're gonna pick the next seed. We are going with the savory summer. Now, this is an herb. I never ate it before. I've never seen it in real life before. I only heard about it and seen videos on it. And from the way that it's described, it sounds like something that I want to try. It says, savory is primarily a culinary herb. It's used in many dishes, including lentils, beans, chicken, beef, soup, eggplant stuffing, sausage, a bunch of stuff. It's an important component of herbes de Provence. I don't know what the hell that is. With this here, because it's an herb, I think it would benefit from being planted close together. So with that in mind, I'm actually going to use this bigger 4-cell tray, and I'm just going to put like 5 seeds per cell. Now to make sure that I can actually do that, I need to open up the packet and see how many it brings. All right, let's see here. Are they just at the bottom? Oh my God, that brings a lot of seeds. Let me show you guys. Look at that. It's like little ants. It's got to be at least 100 seeds in there. So that pretty much confirms my theory. I can plant a bunch of them together because it probably doesn't mind. We're about to find out. I don't know though. Another reason why they could give me a lot of seeds is because it might have bad germination rate. So in order to cross all our T's and circle all of our I's, or however that freaking saying goes, we're just going to sow a few more per cell and then we'll see how it goes. Alright, so by a few more seeds, I mean quite a bit more than 5 per cell. I'm just going to take a few between my fingers and I'm just going to sprinkle them along the top of the soil. Alright, that'll do it there. It says here that the light aids germination and you should press the seed into the soil surface. So I guess we're just going to take our fingers and push the seeds into the soil. And because that's all it needs, I'm just going to take some of this right here and just spray over the surface of it. Alright, let's go ahead and put this to the side. Pick our next one. I'm gonna go with this right here, rosemary. Everybody should know a little bit of rosemary on some steak or something tastes phenomenal. But I actually want to know how much fresher, how much more potent that flavor of rosemary will come out if you grow your own. I'm excited for this one. Let me go ahead and grab a tray. Fun fact about rosemary. Did you know that rosemary can actually help you increase your blood circulation and your immune system? Just like our other herb, this is actually recommended to be surface sown too. But it doesn't seem like this one's going to bring as many seeds as the savory does. But who knows, I could be wrong. They say great things come in small packages, so I might have a bunch in here. Yeah, no, I was wrong. Turns out that size actually does matter. I'm not going to ask my wife about that though. I don't want her to embarrass me. Alright, these are some small seeds, so I'm going to just get up real close and sow a few per cell. I'm going for about 3 to 4 per cell, and then as they grow up, I'll go back through and thin them out. Alright, it says press it into the soil, and then I guess we just go ahead and put this thing to the side. Alright, we got the last, but most certainly not least, early pepper jalapeno. Fun fact about jalapenos. Did you know that your body actually does not detect spice? When you bite into a pepper, it releases a molecule called capsaicin. And what that does is it actually tricks your body's heat receptors into thinking that it's actually overheating. So your body starts its natural cooling mechanisms. And that is what you perceive as spicy. Alright, first things first, I'm curious to see how many seeds come in the packet, and it looks like we got a good handful. This will be enough for me to use the 12 that I need, and I'll be able to save some too. Alright, the seeds have been soaking for about 5 minutes. We're going to treat it the same way that we treated all the other peppers. We're going to go 2 per sale, and then we'll just thin them out, because ultimately we only want 1 per sale, but we want to pick the strongest seedling. Alright, so now that all of our seeds are sown, I'm going to have to come over here and figure out where I'm going to have them at. I have some space in that tray, so I'll probably put some in there under that light. But I need to bring this light down, and I need to make some space to put them in there too. So give me 1 second, and I'll put you guys right back in here. Alright guys, there you have it. Somehow, some way, I was able to make it work. So the way I did it is, I took my worm tower that was over there, and I just put it on top of the table, and then I put the little greenhouse station up here. By the grace of God, I was able to fit everybody in here. I gave everybody some water, and I went ahead and put a heat mat underneath too. That should help with germination, especially for things like pepper. They like warm soil to be able to germinate. I know it's kind of hard to see because I got the light on now, but this is basically how they're going to sit for the next week or two until they germinate, and then I'll pull you guys right back in here. Alright, so it's been 2 weeks since we planted this stuff, and it seems like the potatoes still haven't came up, the sweet bell peppers haven't come up either, and the rosemary also. But everything else is well on its way. I mean, the sweet banana bell pepper, we only have 1 so far. Well, actually, there's another one back here that just emerged. And the savory summer's doing pretty good too. It's almost time for me to feed these tomatoes. Usually I like to start feeding them once I start seeing their true leaves. But I'm gonna wait a little longer for other things to catch up first. Alright, well let's give this a few more weeks and see if anything else decides to germinate. Alright guys, it's officially been 1 month since germination. So whatever hasn't come up by now is probably not going to come up anymore. However, it's not all bad news. As you can see, a lot of things did germinate, with the exception of a few things. But if you give me 1 second, I'll pull you guys closer and give you a better look. Alright, so as you can see, we do have a couple things that we should be proud of. For example, that savory summer here is doing really well. Look at this. Unfortunately, it seems like only 2 of the cells germinated. I only see a tiny little baby plant right here, and I don't see a single plant in this cell. Moving right along, the potatoes. Unfortunately, I wanted these to work because we're starting potatoes from seed, so that's really cool. But I think I need to do a little bit more research because I went 0 for 4. However, if we look at the potatoes in this tray, we do have 1 success right here. Unfortunately, nothing else in this tray germinated, but I'm going to make sure I take really good care of this one. Now, we do have a similar story here with the rosemary. It seems like we only have 1 success. And we do have another little plant coming up here, so there is a chance that we might have 2. But for the most part, I'm only banking on this one here. Now, as far as the sweet bell peppers, I'm not going to lie to you. I don't even know if this thing is a pepper or not. For all I know, this could be a piece of grass. Alright, from this point forward, we're actually looking pretty good. For example, the early chili jalapenos, they have a phenomenal germination rate. As you can see, every single cell has plants in it, and the cells that have 2, I'm going to make sure I separate them out. Another one that's doing really good is the long purple eggplant. As you can see, every single cell has a plant in it, and some of them have 2 plants. So same with the chili, I'll make sure I transplant and I put them in their individual cells. Now the sweet banana peppers took a while to germinate, but they're finally coming along pretty nicely. 2 of the cells, however, did not germinate, but we do have 5 plants, so this should be plenty to sustain us for the season. And then both of these tomatoes here are doing phenomenal. The Glacier tomato and the Cherokee purple tomatoes. The only problem with these is that they're growing so fast that they actually have a nutrient deficiency right now. They're not doing too well. Anyway, let's go ahead and start up potting some of these plants so I can show you guys how I do that. Alright, so when it comes to seed starting, there is a few things I like to do. For starters, if you watch my other video where I made this potting soil, you would know that this mix actually doesn't have that much nutrition in it. And that's okay, because when you're starting seeds, you don't really need a lot of nutrition. However, now that the seedlings have sprouted and they have their true leaves, they are searching for nutrients throughout that soil, so you need to feed them a little bit. And if you don't, you're actually going to end up with something called a nutrient deficiency. And in my case, I actually ended up with a phosphorus deficiency. And the reason why I know that is because if we look at these sweet banana peppers here, they actually have this discoloration here. The leaves are turning purple and so are the stems. This is one of the clear indicators that you have a phosphorus deficiency. And it's not just on these peppers, I noticed it on the other plants too. So what I'm going to be doing to remedy that is when I take some of this soil here, I'm actually going to be amending it with a little bit more nutrition so that way the plants can correct their deficiencies. And what I'm going to be using today to do that is Dr. Earth's Organic 463. These are macronutrients and they represent nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium. This is the perfect solution to our problem because as we already identified, we have a phosphorus deficiency. So that's that middle number here, which is the highest on this bag. Now, let's say that you're up potting in a situation where you don't have any deficiencies of any kind. I would still suggest for you to use some sort of multi-purpose fertilizer, whether that's a balanced 444, 555, or whatever the case may be. That way you will ensure that those little seedlings have all the nutrition they need to develop nice and strong. So anyway guys, just keep it simple, a little compost, maybe a little multi-purpose fertilizer. There's no need to break the bank, but in my case, I'm actually going to be supplementing with a little bit more than just this. And the reason why is because I got some of this stuff left over, and it's called Craft Blend from Build-A-Soil. And you can basically think of this as like a multi-purpose organic fertilizer. And the last thing I'm going to be adding today is some of this Big 6 blend from Build-A-Soil. This is basically just a bunch of micronutrients that you don't typically find in your mixes, but the nutrients that it does contain are essential for your plant's development. Alright, well, I think we're ready. Let's go ahead and get started so I can show you guys how I go about up-potting my plants. The first thing I like to do is squeeze the sail to kind of loosen it up a little bit. Then I flip it upside down and it just comes right out. Now you can really tell that you've done a good job if when you pull the plug out, the roots are still nice and white. If they're orange or if they have a funky smell to them, then you know that you have a problem. And mine smell nice and earthy, all good, no problems. Now you're gonna notice that they are together like this, and it's very simple. All you gotta do is just kind of squeeze the soil with your fingers, and look, it's already starting to fall apart. And then once you got enough soil away from the seedlings, you're just gonna take each one by the base of their stems and just wiggle them. Just wiggle them, wiggle them, wiggle them, and they'll come apart. Look at that. Here's a close-up so you can see how nice and healthy the roots are. And it's okay if you break a couple roots while you do this. Don't worry, the plants are going to bounce right back. Anyway, so what we're going to do is we're going to put them to the side for a second, take some of this potting mix. Then I'm going to start taking some of my nutrients and adding them in. I have a tablespoon scoop right here, and I'm going to start off with some of this Dr. Earth here, sprinkle it in. Then same thing, I'm going to take a tablespoon of some of this Craft Blend, sprinkle it in. And I'm only going to take a teaspoon of the Big 6 and sprinkle that in. This stuff is actually black. I don't know if you can see that from here, but that stuff is black. Anyway, then I'm going to take some more potting soil on top of that, and I'm just going to mix it all together. Alright, so now that I feel satisfied with how I mixed it in, I'm going to take my plant, plop it in the center, and take some soil and just kind of fill it up all around the plant. There we go, just like that, and there you have it, guys. And you're going to see that within the next few weeks, this thing is going to take off. Alright, well, as you can see, we got quite a bit of plants we need to get through. So just give me 1 minute. I need to lock in and just get it done, and I'll put you guys right back in here. Alright, there we go, guys. We got everything nice and transplanted, as you can see. And I gotta admit, that took me a lot longer than I expected. I decided to only have 4 sweet banana peppers, 6 Cherokee purple tomatoes, 1 rosemary, 1 Clancy potato, which I didn't have a choice on that. That's the only one that came up. 6 glacier tomatoes, 4 long purple eggplants, 4 early chili jalapenos, and a bunch of savory summer. The rest of the seedlings, I'm just gonna feed them to my worms, and I'll have them turn that into worm castings. Alright, so now all I have to do is just start a few seeds. But this video is going to get a little too long, so I think this is where we're going to go ahead and wrap it up for today. My name is Fusion, and I want to thank you guys for tuning in to Fusion Grows. I hope I'll see you guys in the next one, and have a wonderful day.